Good afternoon, it's time. It's time yet for another NFL Bucky's Mill Day. This is your host, Mike C., of course, and Star Show. As always, it's Bucky. Say hi, Bucky. Bucky says hi. We got some sad news today to report. You know, we do the good, the bad, the ugly, and sometimes it's sad. Legendary talk show host Phil Donahue died. He was 88. I believe he was still married to Marlo Thomas. And I used to watch him many years ago. A lot of controversial shows, a little more hard-hitting than today, obviously. But he was a TV legend, and I want to say he was out of Chicago, but I'm not certain about that. I didn't do enough research on him. But I know he was on TV for a long time. But yeah, great career, and best wishes to his family. So, another disturbing story. I wasn't going to report this, but I thought, we can't sugarcoat it here. We got to do the ugly too. So we've done the bad and the ugly, or the sad and the ugly, I should say. Former Lions first-round draft pick in 2008, the 17th overall pick, offensive lineman Gosser Cherilus. Was arrested for, I hate to say it, public urination on a plane. He was drunk, of course. Got into a scuffle, a fight. I don't know exactly the details. And apparently went back to a different seat and then passed out. So obviously drunk. I don't know what he was, has been charged, I guess. I'm not sure. But just a terrible, ugly story. And, yuck, gross. He was also on the Bucks and I want to say the Colts. So we'll let him be on those two teams. But he was drafted by the Lions, unfortunately. All right, let's get to some better news. Let's see what we got, Bucky. Oh, last week we had 16 views. That's great. Very happy with that. And we're trying to be more consistent on that level. So that's very good for us. So I'm very happy with that. Bucky, what in the world do you have in front of you today? Well, let's see if I can move this over a little bit. Not really. There we go. All right. We've got behind Bucky, we've got my Lions, Reds, and Badger and Hawks circular tapestry, I guess. It's not a blanket, tapestry. And reason actually, I want to cover different teams again. And in front of Buck, we've got three more cards. One is Kerryon Johnson, the one on Bucky's right. The one on his left is a double swatch with Matthew Stafford and Kerryon Johnson. And the middle is just a cool one that I found as a Texan. I already forgot his name. Doesn't really matter. But it's cool. It's got, multiple. It's got a football. It's got a patch. And it's just a very cool card. So I thought those are the first ones I found. So it was pretty cool. Let me see what else I've got, Bucky. The Reds are, as Suki walks right in front of the camera. That's okay, Suki. The Reds are 60-64. 12 games out, which, considering how much they lose, is not a bad record. And they're 12 out, so they're not going to win the division, obviously. But they're only a couple games out of a wild card spot, which is still amazing to me. But I didn't find out who they played next week. I saw the headline, but I did not see the team, so I'll post that later. So they're doing actually better than I thought I could. Unlike the Chicago White Sox, whose record is, where is it? I can't see it. 30-95. They are 42.5 games out, and they've already been eliminated from the playoffs. Wow. That's how bad they are. That's historic. I need to be a White Sox fan this year for sure. That's also the bad or the ugly. Okay. The Blackhawks, and the reason I put this up here was The Blackhawks play their first game in 34 days, so just a little over a month. So that's exciting. They made some signings. I didn't write those down, but they will be better than they were last year. That's a guarantee. Now, would they make the playoffs? I don't know. If they do, it would probably be very lower end of the spectrum there. But they will be better than they were last year. They were not very good last year, but they will be noticeably better, this year, I should say. So we'll see what happens. I think that's all I got in my notes. One more. Last week we watched, I mostly watched, the Lions play the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. And the Lions pulled it out with a last-second field goal. The Lions kicker was 4 for 4. He missed an extra point, which almost came back to haunt them. But the Chiefs play their starters most of the first half. Not all the starters, but a good chunk of them. Mahomes played, for example. And the Lions held their own. And they came back to win. And now the only play they're talking about is Mahomes behind the back pass, which was very fun, very novel. But my God, they've overplayed it so much. Yeah, it was a good play, a fun play. But geez, I've seen it like 8,000 times already. So enough of that. The broadcast was overall okay. The reporting, oh my God. Now, I may have missed it, but I didn't see the Lions starters introduced. And throughout the entire show, I know it's a local, broadcast. I understand that. They very rarely mentioned any Lions players. And it was just kind of a little disgusting to watch after a while. And so that was, I want to know the players and stuff, and it didn't mention them. So, and then I watched the highlights later on that same night. Do you remember if it was ESPN or, I can't remember, it doesn't matter. They showed no highlights from the Lions. And they basically said, oh, and by the way, the Lions won 24-23. It was all Kansas City highlights. It's like, so I was a little miffed about that, but I understand it, I guess, to a point. But geez, they didn't even acknowledge any of the Lions players. It was just, now there's some good players that had some good games. Hooker had a very good game. He ran for a touchdown and got a few first downs. So he played very well. Sakai played very well. The offensive line played pretty good. The Lions had a couple sacks, so that was good. So all in all, they played okay. And now next week they play Pittsburgh Steelers in Detroit. So we'll see if the broadcast is extremely one-sided like it was last week. But I did watch some of the Steelers game, not because of that, but they were on. And they lost to, who did they play? I can't remember, it doesn't matter. But, so we watched a few games. The Vikings won. The Packers lost 27-2, which I guess has never happened before. It was an ugly game. And there's a lot of low-scoring games in preseason. So one game was 9-3. Those are boring games. So at least the Lions, scored some points. But, they played pretty well, I thought, considering. So next week, they probably even play less of their starters. And because they got to make, their final cuts are coming up on all teams. And so we'll see what happens. Hooker, I don't know if he's going to start or if Sudfeld will start. Doesn't really matter. I think Hooker is the number 2 quarterback. And there will be cuts, obviously, and there will be pickups. Trades, doubt it, but we'll see. But, so yeah, there's only a week left, and there's, or one preseason game left, and then, whatever the time is between the other games. So it's getting close, guys. As I said, hockey's on the horizon. Baseball is still going strong. The Reds, again, surprised me. I didn't realize they were, I knew they were out, 12 games out, but there's still, a possibility for a wild card. We'll see what happens with that. But otherwise, that's it about sports. It's all about football now, guys. So we're excited about that. As far as what we did this weekend, not a lot. Took Suki for a couple walks. It rained one day, so it was Sunday was kind of messed up actually. But I'm going to take Suki for a walk later. And I just looked over to see if she heard me or not. But yeah, so it's we're settling into summer, and fall's just not that far away. So that means football, college football, a couple weeks away, and get excited about that. We're gonna do a college preview coming up very soon. There's so many teams now in the playoffs. I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna do, but we'll cover it a little bit. And I was talking about the Badgers, and we'll see what happens. So I think that's about it, Bucky. Yep, we're over 10 minutes. That's fine. So, for Mike C, of course, Star Show, as always, it's Bucky. Say bye, Bucky. Bucky says bye. And thanks for watching, and thanks for the views, and we'll catch you next week. All right, bye now.